Boys, don't cry. Stop the tears. Don't be sissy. Be cool. Be strong. Don't let them disrespect you. Man up. Grow some balls. Don't let women to rule your life. Don't feel. Get laid. Cut the emotional crap. Be a man. Boys grew up hearing this, the values of a man world. To man up under a mask, to not to feel anything because it's not manly. Socially, we do not expect men to act in any ways that indicates vulnerability. It's a taboo for a man to want to cry, to share, to feel, to ask for help, especially from women. When it comes to respect and power, men are bound by the rule of thumbs to hide their emotions. They end up showing aggression and violence as the only accepted feelings in the man world. And here we are on the eighth session of Sharing Vulnerability with eight guest speakers, all men. The story of this round is very interesting. Initially, there were only 5 men, but then I thought, why not all men? So why not giving the right and a safe space to men to share and express their fears, their hopes, to share their vulnerabilities without the fear of being judged. Many other men have come up to this stage during the past 3 months that we faced pandemic. We faced something we never faced before. They all commented after the show that how much they were feeling more powerful, less alone, much lighter, much happier. The need for a safe space knows no gender. Nevertheless, this round is dedicated to men. To all the men of this time who have come to their knees under the pressure of toxic masculinity that did not allow them to embrace a big chunk of their existence, their feelings. The pressure that made them to suppress their feelings behind the mask of power and left them somehow confused, frustrated, angry, and alienated to each other and to women. This is the response to a call that wants to give the man the right to feel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vulnerable Talks number 8. This is a special episode for Özkan and I because we decided that we want to give a break after this, a summer break, and come back to you after a few weeks with a lot of fresh content. Özkan, for now, I think we already have, with this group, we had 56 speakers who have come to the stage and shared their vulnerability. How do you feel?
I feel great, actually. I mean, I remember the days we started thinking about it, and we were thinking about it was just an idea that we were discussing. This was the second half of April, and that April, or this April, I was most of the time intentionally I was sleeping. I preferred to just shut myself down because the whole world was shut down. I said, okay, go back to yourself. And you knocked on my door and you talked about this idea. And I loved the idea, but you were patient enough to wait for me for, I think, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. But once I decided, yeah, let's go for this. In May, we started. I think it's going pretty well. And as we were talking the day before, I don't know what I'm going to do in the next coming weeks because we're going to give a summer break because we're just so used to it. Like with tonight, it's 56 people. And I think in all the sessions, I would say I have learned and I have really listened to in almost all the speakers really just opened the perspective for me. And this is going pretty well and it's growing. I love the idea and it's going pretty well.
Yeah, we spoke a lot about the need of having, a safe space, a space that people could come and share what they feel about something which going on in their lives at this point of time. Okay, we experience something that was common to all of us. But I mean, regardless of this common issue that we experience, the need to have a space like this for people of various part of the society. Some of us, we have been to stage and we are like zoomed, overwhelmed with Zoom and online activities, but some of us, we have something that we would like to talk, but we never got a chance. So I think it's pretty much needed, and it is well taken and well responded by, of course, the family of Love Mafia, which have always supported us, and Joint Idea, who's offered us the online platform, and Elif with administrative support. She's always there supporting and helping us with the content and with the running of the application. I mean, Özkan, I'm so thankful to him, working day and night, keeping in touch with almost everybody who has been in this talk. They know that on a daily basis, you must have got like at least 2 or 3 messages from him, with his immaculate way of organizations and his perfectionist mind and very creative heart that he has, beautiful way that he's wording things. He has been the heart and soul of this talk, and I'm hoping that we should continue this for as long as there is a need for a safe space for people to just share without being judged.
It's wonderful. Yeah, yeah, it's wonderful, and I loved all the efforts I've given it. It was not really. It was an effortless effort, as they say. I loved it so.
Sure.
Again, I can work for this. No problem.
Okay.
I'm happy.
I'm gonna thank the audience also, and I'm gonna request them to bear with us, because maybe today Özkan and I, we talk a little bit more, because it's gonna be the last episode of this season till the time we come back after the summer break. And so, without wasting more time, Özkan, shall we start?
Yeah. Thank you for being here with us, the 7 speakers. This is a safe place to share, and everybody here is going to listen without prejudice. I just one question I ask to the audience: please be here as if you are a newborn to this world. So please open up your minds and heart. So each and every speaker is going to share with you something individual, unique. So let's go. Let's keep the ball rolling.
Let's go. Yes. Another request to our beautiful audiences who are with us tonight: if you're comfortable and if you feel safe, share your videos at some point of time with the 7 speakers, because they're here to share their personal stories with you. So you also share some of because we are any which ways in the virtual world, so to share your videos and let the speakers to at least see your face and have eye contacts with you and feel your energy is going to make them feel much more comfortable and much more connected. Thanks again. I already praised the 7 speakers, all the 7 brave men, so I think that's a start.
So for the start, I'm just going to quickly show if it's visible right now. We are starting with Markus, then Mehmet, then Obi, then Rüzgar, then Tobias, then Sercan, and finally with Orhan.
We have a teddy there. Who's this teddy bear?
I don't know who is Orhan, who is John Galt, who is Orhan. We're going to see at the end of this evening. I mean, the 7th speaker who's here. We're going to see. We are starting with Markus.
Markus,
who is introducing Markus? Sheri.
It's me. Actually, yeah. Markus doesn't need introduction. Like almost everybody who is part of Joint Idea or living in Istanbul or living somewhere in the world must have seen him somewhere online. He's ultra active. He's everywhere. He's the heart and soul of this community. And we kind of named him as Godfather, but he doesn't like it. Okay. Can I have the screen to say what Markus has written about herself? And in the meantime, I think Markus' microphone, he's master expert with online Zoom. I don't need to guide. Markus, your microphone is working, yes?
Yes, I'm here and listening, so thank you.
Jack of all trades, co-founder of Joint Idea, LifeWorks Labs, and Love Mafia. Lifelong utopian, broken many times, still hopeful. Markus?
Thank you. And if I might just add something before my 3 minutes begin, I would like to thank both of you very much for this great dedicated effort that you've been putting in over so many sessions. And I think it's really valuable work, and we all need to have a safe space. And I'm so happy that you guys have taken the initiative to do this, and I hope that it continues. I think that we all need it, not just for this period, but we need it as a way of living, possibly forever. So I don't know, that's a big commitment, but I hope that whatever stage has been set here will actually have a domino effect, that this type of sincere, open, vulnerable conversation becomes a part of each of our lives as a regular way of communicating. So thank you so much to both of you for that.
Thank you. We are here for this, and we're going to keep the ball rolling. We're going to keep the fire burning.
Perfect. That's wonderful.
Your 3 minutes is started now.
Okay, well, let me set my own timer here so I can also control myself. So you asked me, or you asked everybody 3 questions, and just that I can discipline myself a little bit more. And since I have a little bit of Zoom fever myself these days, I wanted to answer them one by one. And the first question you asked is, how do you foresee the future? And of course, I could interpret that in different ways. Generally speaking, I'm an optimist. I always look forward. I'm always expecting things will be better than they were in the past. I still think my best days are in front of me rather than behind me. And the future is fluid. It's really, we're going through a period right now, I think, where we have the chance to make beautiful and meaningful change. And it's the first time, I think, at least in my life experience, where so many people have come to the beginning of the future, the starting point at the same time. So we really have a massive creative power in front of us that if we channel it the right way, we may have something very, very different than we have in the past. And as they always say, the best way to create the future is, or the best way to foresee the future is to create it. And I think that what we're doing here is precisely that. So taking active steps to have the right type of conversations that can move us all forward. So I see problems, but I'm optimistic, and I'm looking forward. I'm excited about the future. The biggest challenge that I'm having right now, question number 2, well, I don't know. In many ways, I kind of feel that, COVID has been one thing, but my life has been breaking actually for the past, I don't know, at least decade, and possibly before then, depending on how you look at it. And especially over the past years, from letting go of business partnerships to letting go of other partnerships, marriage, investments, surrendering and letting go of so many different things. I sometimes ask, well, what's left? What else do I have to give? What else can I lose possibly? And, then, I get stuck with that sometimes. And, this kind of idea of how we're moving from material things to the dematerialized world right now. And now as we're making the decision to close our last physical element of this business of joint idea and everything, at least temporarily, I think the biggest challenge is, how to do all the things we need to do with nothing physical. How do we do that online? How do we do that in a way that doesn't have, I don't know, a mecca or something holding it together as a physical thing? Because we've always had that as human beings, and I personally don't know really how to do that yet. I've always lived in the world of building stuff, in the world of real estate. That's been my job for the past 20 years in my career. So now how to kind of, I don't know, make sense of that and move that into the world of the immaterial, where we're not building anything physical, but we're building structures that are in our shared mindset. How lasting are they? How much are they at risk? Where are the risk points? I'm struggling with that and trying to make sense of that. And I think that that's something probably that we're all struggling with. And the third question of how and what do I need to develop in myself as I'm moving forward is, I don't know, I guess to try to stop thinking about the outcomes and to stop trying to figure it out and to just close my brain and just to stop thinking and to start, following my heart more and start to become more familiar with that. What is it telling me? What are the feelings that I'm feeling, and what, how related and how coherent and how much in tune, let's say, are they with the things that I'm thinking? And if there is a conflict, who wins? Is it my brain or is it my heart? Or I don't know, we could also introduce the soul, but in 3 minutes, I'm not going to bring that into it. So, just trusting my inner voice, I guess, is the story. And to kind of, I don't know, if my feelings are good and if my body is good, and even if my thoughts are telling me something else, I'm going to start, and I have been trying to, and I commit further to trusting myself. And, I think that's the way to move forward more quickly, because we can't think our way through what we're going through right now. And we don't know the answers. It's all open-ended. And this is the domain of the heart, in my view. So I want to open my heart even more. And my time is more than up, so I'm going to stop there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was nice. That was beautiful. Before moving to the next audience, first of all, thank you so much for this honest and vulnerable share. It was emotional. I want to invite the audience and also other speakers. If something that one of the speakers says and is highlighted for you, you pay attention to it, and you feel like it sticks to your mind or it means something to you, please go ahead and use the chat box and interact and just write it, and let other people also to be able to basically create more dynamic between each other. What do you
Sure,
say?
yeah. We invite everyone to be a bit interactive. Just if anything resembles something, anything is really like you want to highlight one keyword or a sentence from the speaker, you can just write in the chat box so that we listen to you as well. Thank you, Markus. Letting go. Just let go and be free. Huh? We'll see. We become rich by letting go and leaving stuff, material stuff. We'll see. We go. I need a dome. Huh? I need a building. Oh, we're gonna see. About the questions, it was my mistake, but I have then changed the questions between one and three. Yeah, I want to read the questions once again. So
I'm actually copying it. Mm-hmm.
How do you foresee the future is the third question, but that's okay. Let me just quickly read the questions for the audience. After the first question is, after the times of chaos, what's the most challenging issue for you right now? The second question is, based on your personal experience during the pandemic times, on which areas of life would you like to develop yourself in these times of ongoing uncertainty? And the third question is, how do you foresee the future? We don't ask really just answer the questions, but if you feel like answering as Markus did, that's also welcome. Let's keep the ball rolling, Sheri, shall we?
Yes, of course.
The second, I will be introducing for tonight our second guest. I want
another legendary celebrity.
Yes, yes.
Mehmet.
And let me just quickly open up, share his self-description that we received from him. Mehmet, a dreamer, a believer and doer, a traveler, nature lover and experience collector, a seeker, manifester, a collaborator and facilitator. Mehmet, the stage and the screen and the microphone is yours. Welcome.
Thank you. That sounds like a lot of things. First of all, I would like to thank you guys, Özkan and Sheri, for creating this platform. It's interesting that we had these technologies for a while, but we didn't realize what we had in hand, and now we are taking advantage of it. So this is, I think, a great example of how we are adapting to uncertain times as humans. As in evolutionary theory, it's not only the fittest or strongest that survives, but the one that can adapt to changes the fastest. So I think this is a great example, and thank you again so much for giving me this opportunity. From what I understand, I think we're supposed to share like a little personal story, anecdote from our lives, how it relates to these times and fragility and uncertain times, and what we learn from it, what we take from there. Well, coming out of college, I was always looking for a lifestyle thing to do. Like, I didn't see my life and business as separate. I wanted to do something that I really enjoy and, make my life on it. And after, quite a few trials within the years of, from 20s to 30s, I tried many things, from like journalism to adventure travel, guiding and all that stuff. And then I saw that it was, I failed in doing these things sustainable. I enjoyed my times, got what I wanted to get out of it. And during those years, my plan Z always was to go back into business. I studied business. I saw business as a, as an easy zone and unsatisfactory zone. Just the goal being trying to make money. And then after 10 years, I said, okay, let's move forward with plan Z first. Let's make some money, and then we can look into the other plans again. So I got into my technology business, and it went well for a while. I hit my financial goals, and I came to thinking, what life was about, what my mission is, if I'm enjoying my day-to-day life, if I'm doing something meaningful for myself. Then I came across this, and I always had in the back of my mind of creating a great utopian community where people are free from judgments, collaborating with each other. And it could be like an example, a little micro environment, kind of like the Noah's Ark. So then I came across a beautiful place that I could realize this. And at that moment, I had the realization that all this work to make money was a tool for jumping into this kind of lifestyle. And I thought from there it was going to be like very rosy, happy, but what I saw was what's most important in life is balance. If you're shifting your balance from one side to the other too much, it doesn't matter which side it is, you're really shifting your balance, which is not good for people. At least it was not good for me. People need some perspective to appreciate some things. Even, to appreciate white, you need black. To appreciate good, you need the bad. So you can live your hell in your heaven. That's what I realized. And interestingly, from that, and the way I looked at it was, this was my heaven. It had nothing to do with money, and the other was my business, and it had everything to do with money and to support my heaven. So within the last 5 years, things shifted so much that my other business started going down, the one that I saw as a business, and the other one started going up. And during the pandemic, I came to a point where I, have to even shut down my operations in the other business and concentrate on what I really would like to do, which is, on the other hand, I was trying to sell people something that they didn't need, trying to make them feel that they needed it. On this side, I'm feeling like I'm giving people what they really need, which is a zone with no judgment, where they can express themselves. There's love and trust and courage of what you wanted to do. There's collaboration, no competition, and there's a sense of belonging and community, love over fear, and connection with the nature and your inner child and with each other. So all these things are, translating into what I live day to day in my life. I think I even passed like four minutes. Anyway, so
you have another half an hour.
Yeah. So
don't worry, you have a lot to share,
yeah,
but we will give you another. The last 10 minutes will give you more time. But wrap it up, yes, please.
Yeah, to wrap up, I think the one of the most important things in life are prioritization and balance. You really need to know your priorities and what really matters for you, what's really important for you. To live a meaningful life, and life with a purpose is very important. And I think humanity will grow with love over fear. And yes, we are living in uncertain times. I cannot predict the future. I don't think anybody can. But the best we can do is to be an optimist, as Markus says, and do the best we can. We're going to rise together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was like a manifesto, huh? So, Sheri, maybe we, since I'm always looking for spaces, we could go for an open space, and as far as I listen to Mehmet, we should just go and do one of the sessions of Vulnerable Talks where he actually is living this.
Yeah, of course. For those who don't know, Mehmet runs this amazing resort called Bonjour Bay. I think he's famous enough, but I'm just saying for those who don't know, please share the links and all for those people who don't know so they can follow you and see the amazing stuff that you're doing in the community of Bonjour. And to everybody and to audiences, please don't leave us till last minute. I have a very interesting surprise for all of you at the end of the show, please. Okay, Özkan.
Yeah, Sheri, let's continue with the next guest. Thank you, Mehmet, for the sharing. It was really good, and I was into it. I was with you in your presence and vibration. Let's move on to our next guest. I think you're introducing him. Tonight is easy. We are always introducing him.
Yes,
let's go.
That is a manly man. Okay. Yeah, a very dear guest, a very good friend. Obi, are you with me?
Yes, here. Can you hear me?
Your microphone. Yes, yes, yes.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see what Obi has to say about himself. Medical physicist, self-taught artist and musician. I've started my journey last November and have reached a crossroad. Keep on dreaming as it will be your savior. Obi, please.
Yes, so thank you. I know that we're limited on time tonight, but anyways, I'm glad that everybody's here to share their experiences. Like I mentioned, I started my journey last November. That was when I left the corporate world. I was working for, one of the largest companies which produce hardware and software for radiation therapy. A total massive company. And then they kind of like forced me out, which was like unpredictable. I was with them for more than 10 years. It was something you least expected it, but then all of a sudden, it was very interesting because it was kind of like a blessing and a hell at the same time, but it took time to move or adjust myself from one place and go to another place because I know what brought me here will not take me where I want to go. So if I go on to what happens after the time of chaos, what's the most difficult thing I find right now, okay, and it's because of, every country has its own, COVID threat and situation and so on, but I'm in the UAE. I live 45 minutes north of Dubai in a small city called Ras Al Khaimah. And we don't really, it's not really a big city, and everybody's following the rules and everything. So it's not as it's more suburban, put it that way. But what I find the most is because I'm here alone. I'm all alone here. I have no family. I only have friends, which I see once in a while. But I find it very overwhelming now to see people, just a bunch of people gathered. I just get totally overwhelmed. And it might sound funny, but that's what I'm trying to readjust to now, is just seeing people and communicating with people and being able to interact with people, but on a larger scale, not one-to-one. Like, let's say if you see a group of 10 people, you see a group of 15 people and so on. That's what I'm trying to adjust to now. Regarding the my personal experience of the pandemic time, to develop myself, I started developing myself after I left my job. Okay, so I started art. I started as a collector, and then I realized I can do art for some reason. So I started just after I left work, and I just continued and continued. And then I started to develop my own, technique and so on. But what was most interesting was during my time during the lockdown, I kept on doing, let's say, calligraphy, or it looks like calligraphy of just my name, and it was just continuously my name. I kept on doing it on and on and on and on. different shapes, different styles, different techniques, everything, but it was only my name because I was only here by myself. You know, and I spent about 3 months writing my name in different forms, shapes, and sizes, and so on. I just have like a whole stack of drawings here of just my name. But what the pandemic has taught me was regarding vulnerability, it forced us all into a lockdown. And the way nations have reacted was due to vulnerability. You know, nations felt vulnerable. They didn't know what the virus was, for example. You know, and then we started getting into, oh yeah, okay, this age group will be affected, and so on. Okay, so that's acceptance. That's acceptance right there. Okay, we're starting to heal. You know, we're starting to heal already because we're starting to accept. Correct? You know, and you know, you can deal with emotional pain, you can deal with physical pain, but I think the most important thing is acceptance. You know, so for just a very simple example, you're playing football and somebody kicks you in the shin, you know, and you know you hurt yourself, and then you know you're going to go to the hospital. You know, you're going to have a dressing. You're going to take painkillers, for example. Okay, but when you know, like, okay, I'll be better in like 2 or 3 weeks, that's when you start accepting, and that's when you start becoming happy. So you take all this negative energy and you flip it over to positive just by thinking in that direction. You know, so acceptance is very important at this time. Once we learn to accept, that's when we're going to see happiness or start healing. You know, I've been inspired. I've met fantastic people who have really inspired me in my work. Really good people, good friends. You know, we got along on all levels. You know, and also another thing that, you know, I had a few problems, you know, like personal problems, you know, but my point is, you know, I used to wake up in the morning and see those problems like this in front of my face. Okay, fine. You know, it's right in my face. Okay, I can analyze it. You know, I can see what it is. I know what's going on. But at one point, you know, you have to just put it away. You know, put it away, keep it at a distance. Okay, and then, you know, bring something else, analyze it. You know, so it's like, you know, if you know Superman, it's like kryptonite, you know? When it gets close to him, he kind of gets, you know, vulnerable, and, you know, he loses his power and everything. You know, but, you know, you have to keep distances. You know, you cannot just wake up and have the problem, you know, right in front of you and just, you know, have it there, because then if you have it there, you cannot see beyond. You know? You cannot see beyond it. You know? And your whole day is consumed with it. And your whole day is gone. You cannot produce. You cannot do anything. You're an unproductive person at the end of the day. So I learned how to start putting things in a distance, and then having other problems which would actually distract me from other problems. I know it's a bit strange and funny, but, you know, when you have other problems introduced, you kind of forget about other problems. You know, so it's like, you know, you know, you had like a trauma, and then you had another trauma. So you're kind of like your pain starts to shift within your body or even your mind. How do I see the future? Sorry?
Are you looking at a time? Because
no.
Your 2 hours is over.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. Looking at the future. It's really easy, you know. Like I said, I'm on crossroad. I would like to do projects totally outside of medical physics, outside of the hospital, outside of cancer, outside of everything, you know, that I did before. You know, and I want to kind of like develop myself, because, I mean, one thing that, you know, we learned from this ongoing pandemic is that it's not about material things anymore. You know, now it's all about, or now everything's less is big. Let's say, so less is big, for me at least, and I'm just being positive and dreaming.
Thank you.
That's all I
Well
can say.
done. Well done. You should do it. We all should do it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Obi, it's just thank you for the sharing. It was brutally honest, as they say, if I may say. And I have also written it to the chat box, but I want to repeat it. The famous words of Charlie Chaplin. He goes, "Life is a tragedy in close shot and a comedy with wide angle." So your story just reminds me of this beautiful phrase from Charlie Chaplin. So distancing the problems leads you to be productive. And unbelievable thing is the repetition. For the first time in your life, and this period is all, I mean, everybody knows that I started water painting these days, and it has been a healing process and a creative sparking process for me, just those water paints. Then I start writing after I paint, and it's crazy. Art is a healer, and art will save us.
That's right. Thank you so much, Obi. It was very powerful. Obi plays beautifully guitar. I think in one of the shows in the future, we should have him to just play with his
He plays the guitar. Obi?
Yes.
Oh, see, good. Yeah, he will be like, yeah, playing his guitar maybe.
Maybe we should do it like a jam session with Markus and Obi. I think they complement each other. I've heard both of them. I can imagine in my head how it will sound.
Yeah.
Okay, we have quite an exciting guest tonight. Some kind of interconnections. I think the next guest is a new rock star, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if he is. Let's see. He plays the bass, but he's a good bass player. Let me just introduce him quickly. The next guest, if I have the chance and the honor to introduce, is Rüzgar. Rüzgar describes himself an interrelated series of momentary events, embraces uncertainty and chaos with positivity, and uses tech to improve humanity. Rüzgar Zere is, the microphone is yours. This is Özkan Zere giving the microphone to Rüzgar Zere.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, as you may know, I'm related to one of the moderators. I'm not going to say which one. And
nobody guessed it also, because there is no resemblance at all.
Yeah, and we may have contributed on the description as well. So it's a very tall order to fulfill, especially the last part, improving humanity using technology. And I guess I'll talk a little bit about my background. And so till last year, I was in the United States. So I lived in Florida and New York for about 6 years. So I was away from Turkey, away from my family, just making international friends from all around the globe. And lastly, I was in New York City doing a master's degree in technology at Cornell Tech University. And when I first saw Cornell Tech, the high-tech campus and all the people that work there and all the students, I remember calling my parents, maybe my mom and my dad, and just saying that, I love this place so much that you should I'm going to chain myself like here and not leave, like regardless of whether they admit me or not. And I ended up getting admitted to Cornell Tech and studying my degree there. And last summer, I got admitted to this internship, which was at Anheuser-Busch. So it's a Budweiser, it's a beer company. And I was sort of like a product manager. I would describe myself as a tech product manager or a product owner of a quality control system. So hardware plus software. I was doing what I loved the most, which is innovation combined with technology and trying to innovate the beer business. They call it beer tech. And I think the funny thing about this experience was I sort of loved it so much that I lost myself in it, and I was so committed to what I was doing that when it started not failing, but when the project was going well, but my future at the company was sort of about to fail, I started acting irrationally, I would say, based on my own standards. And that chain of events led to different things. It led to me not being able to continue my education in New York City. It led to me coming back to Turkey right before all this started. So with regards to the first question, I think the chaotic times didn't really affect me that much because I felt like I was already in a place, I was already inside chaos. So it almost made me feel more at home seeing, I know this is going to sound weird, but seeing the whole world go into a more negative place, it seemed to match where I was almost. I know it's a very self-centered thing to say maybe, but it also made me think in a way that made me question maybe like what you see the world as you actually created. Like, so what you think or what you feel somehow creates things around you, and it's like a ripple effect. It affects more and more outcomes. So with this, within this time, I think I had an opportunity to sort of get back to my roots, to not be so, I don't want to say negative because I'm mostly a positive person also, but to sort of getting back to where I was before and not being so impulsive, I guess, in my decisions. Because I was at a point where I felt like I could do anything, I could say anything I wanted because nothing really mattered anyway. And I think what you realize when you start acting the way you want to act is you've been doing that all along. So what I realized is I've been doing that the whole time, just with a different understanding or without some realizations. It's so funny because I also started thinking in a way that I thought I was realizing a lot of things that I didn't realize before, and like not really people have been like hiding stuff from me, but I was just realizing so many things at once that it was almost overwhelming, and it felt like I had a certain advantage at one point, which turned out not to be. And like right now I'm at a place that I'm able to, work again as I was before, and not be so like emotionally driven, I guess. I'm able to balance like the rational side and the emotional side more. And I'm back actually working full time, which I thought, or my dad also thought that it wasn't possible at one point because I was so against working at, especially at a big company. And I would just do my own thing regardless of whatever. And I think I want to stop there. I can get more into it, but I guess overall, just I never say never anymore. I'm never 100% certain of myself. I always I'm open-minded more, and I'm like open to feedback. And because never say never. Because whenever I say never, I'm never going to do this, never going to come back to Turkey, never going to work full-time at a big company, it always happens again. So the more resistance you show towards something, I think you're also kind of attached to that thing. So I feel more positive, and also the future I see as more positive because I know for a fact that from all this chaos or the turbulence, good things are going to come out. So I want to end up on that positive note.
Thank you so much. It was honest and powerful. I remember that I saw you on the mind and body alignment workshop, and I can say your whole field of energy have changed. What you shared tonight, it truly was a transformation. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was just the early days when he came back. Actually, it was early November, so end of October he had come back from the States. He has been through a very amazing transformation. And listening to you, Rüzgar, I sort of healed myself over here. Thank you.
These sessions have been healing for many of us. By the way, some of the people who are here tonight, like you amazing men who have actually share vulnerabilities, including Rüzgar and Obe, they have volunteered to come in. So such kind of things, it's really precious. I'm very thankful to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's
I know you're maybe
the moderation is so big for me. So
yeah, sober up. Next person is mine. If you have the screen, I'm going to.
Sure, it's coming. Thank you, Rüzgar. Thank you for your brutally honest sharing. Let's go, Tobias. Welcome.
Tobias, are you with us? Is your
Yes,
microphone
I'm here,
in?
yeah.
To the audience, please clean your mind and open your heart for another world to be open up to you, Mr. Tobias. I inspire spiritually awakening entrepreneurs in building authentic, deeply connected business, capitalizing their unique talents at scale. Wow. I'm so proud of myself reading in one go. Mr. Tobias, all yours.
It was a challenge having a sentence on that.
One of the best introductions ever, yeah.
In one sentence, yes. Please.
First off, very grateful.
2 hours and 3 minutes have started.
Cool then. I think that the biggest thing that I'm feeling challenged with right now is just the eternal cycle of birth and death. Because an hour before the call, one of the projects I had started in the beginning of the pandemic is now basically dying. And it's an interesting experience to have, because it just reinforces everything is continuously changing. And in the beginning of the pandemic, it was this is awesome. I'm so excited. All the systems are falling apart and everything is kind of going into chaos. Because similar to what Rüzgar was saying, I lived a life of chaos, and I feel sort of ever since I was a child, I felt never really safe in my body, and I was sort of left in the hospital when I was just born, and so I felt I didn't really trust the world. And so when the world went into chaos, I feel this is awesome. Now everybody else is sort of in a similar state, and we're sort of all starting on the same line. And so it's been really fascinating to feel okay, cool. I felt at this sort of advantage, because I felt sort of acclimatized to chaos, and I felt this is actually cool. I can draw order from that chaos, because that's something that I've been doing for most of my life. Now, what I feel is most challenging right now is really maintaining a sense of authenticity, because I look at the world in this sort of yin and yang thing, where we're continuously having light and darkness. And in the beginning, maybe the circle is small, and whenever we can kind of collapse the circle, then we release light and we jump to the next higher thing where the circle is a bit bigger, but we're still challenged with the light and the darkness. And once we can resolve that, then I feel, boom, we can move on. And so, yeah, I feel what's been really challenging is just feeling feelings and letting go of a marriage that I left 2.5 years ago. And I felt I was still sort of emotionally somewhat connected to it. And now, yeah, I feel really pandemic has drawn out all the residual darkness, because we came from very different places, I felt, where the reason we connected was because we both were fearful of the world. However, ever since we split up, I feel I worked a lot on actually creating love and a sense of abundance in the world, while I feel for her it has been remaining in fear. And so it turned out that we're now having sort of legal thing with how we can see our kids, which I feel for me that leads into what am I sort of wanting to develop more and more, and that's definitely intuition. As I've seen throughout the pandemic, that I've been incredibly head-centric, even not really trusting the world, and basically moving all my energy from lower chakras into sort of just think and rationalize your way through it. As long as my body doesn't feel anything, then I don't need to struggle with anything. And so, yeah, through the pandemic, it's been beautiful to spend some time with Markus and participating in Universe. And it's been a wonderful experience to trust more of my intuition and connect to a like wonderful new woman. And I feel that there's this thing where sort of like feminine and masculine energies come together. And so she's a dancer, and like very much, it feels this like beautiful thing of the universe coming as a synchronicity to me, being like, Toby, you need to attach more to your body. And so I feel I'm gifted with this beautiful human in my life who sort of like teaches me and heals me in a way where I feel really healing. The fear of survival has been the biggest thing that I am wanting to take forward from the pandemic, and effectively the understanding that I want to move energy from my head into my body, because this is how I can manifest change in the world, and not just sort of like thinking abstract constructs. And so how I see the future, I'm an incredible optimist. I love what we can create together. And I think the biggest thing for me is this concept of deeply being interconnected to others, but also being deeply intraconnected. And for a long time, I've been striving for independence. I don't want to depend on anybody, because if I depend on anybody, there could be pain if these people go away or they like disappoint me. And so I feel for the future, the biggest thing for me is recognizing that we're all interconnected and we're all just little events of life. And instead of seeing people outside of us as judgmental, it's everybody is a potential collaborator, but only if I feel I'm actually deeply intraconnected and connected to my worthiness and my, I'm meant to be here. I think that's the biggest thing for the future.
Thank you.
Excellent. Beautiful. You're the first man in the long run who has actually shared something positive about his partner. Well done. Well done. I was waiting to hear something like that. Everybody, some people, they were complaining that, oh my God, we live together too closely. And finally, somebody appreciated this togetherness. Thank you so much.
I want to say we do live in different spaces at the moment, so maybe that's the reason why. But I'm looking forward to seeing her. Like, good.
That was good. That was really good and very honest.
Thank you. I love the sharings. I mean, being interconnected to others and intraconnected to self. Yeah, I loved it. Thank you.
Yes,
Tobias.
awesome keyword.
And also, people ask me about like delivering a workshop. Are you going to be able to like just make people sense your energy? When Tobias was speaking, I got all his energy on the screen. So well done. Thank you.
Yes, it was beautiful. Totally.
Thank you. And tonight, our sixth, everybody in the audience, I mean, tonight we have really...
We are coming to almost the last speakers. Please don't leave us. Stay with us. We are going to have like really interesting guests. Some teddy bear. The last
teddy bear is going to come to...
teddy bear is going to talk.
The teddy bear is going to come.
Yes, and also towards the end of the show, we have some...
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm talking over
surprises.
But my point is like...
I think the next person is Sercan.
Yeah, this is me.
Hear me? Sheri, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, okay, because we were just overlapping. I mean, we were talking on top of each
other. Yes, my internet became a little bit unstable. Sorry about that. Please go ahead.
Okay, no problem with that. I was just trying to say all the sharings are so deep. So I felt like we have to give a minute of silence from one sharing to another, but we're gonna keep on going. So please refresh your minds. The sixth guest speaker tonight, he's going to be with us, Sercan, and I'm going to introduce him quickly with his own words. Sercan, you're with us, I think?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Sercan is a social designer. Recently, he's managing a workshop and experiencing Social Good Association. In Turkish, it is Güzel İşler Derneği. And this beautiful association is based in Pergamon, lovely Pergamon. The stage and the microphone is yours. Sercan, thank you for being with us.
Hi everybody. Firstly, I will start my 3 minutes. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the whole 3 minutes or not, but first, Sheri, I don't have a partner, so if I don't satisfy you, sorry for that.
Don't worry.
As a comparison.
You're number 50. You're number 55.
Okay.
I already lost my voice. Oh.
And I don't know if it's good or not to speak close to the end, but sometimes it's good. But 6 is my lucky number, so it will be the best, I think. So regarding with the questions, the first one, what's the most challenging issue? Not right now, but when the pandemic started, I was in United States, and then 5 days earlier, I came to Turkey all of a sudden on Sunday night. I decided to come back, which is 16th of March. So it was a good decision because the one that was staying in US, my friend, he came 4 months later in a crazy way. So he's not happy with that because he's locked in New York City. And for me, it is the fear and it's a global and new and undefined thing, like a UFO, undefined flying object. It's rather than something different. And so that brings us an unknown future at first. So I didn't understand what will the next situation be. Because when I came to Turkey, people think that I came from Umrah, this is Umre, from Mecca. So they said that we are going to put you under quarantine. So that was their first mistake because they didn't know that I'm coming from New York City. So I think that will the things be that crazy and that people don't get used to do what with the people. So it was a situation that people also don't know what to do. And then I faced with the complaints everywhere from the news and then from my friends. So that was a big deal for me. And later on, regarding to the next question, during the pandemic, what I developed is I attached to my feelings more because after living in New York City, I came to Pergamon, and then from Pergamon, I didn't move to anywhere. So I attached to my feelings, and then I attached to what did I miss, what should I do next, and what I haven't done, what should I have done. So these were the things that I questioned in my life. So that's why I feel more powerful because I know what I am going to take the next step about what. So that's a good point for me. And about the last question, how do you foresee the future? I don't want to. I can only talk from my side. I think I'm going to get used to with the situation as I did very easily. And then I became more digital at first, but later then easily become again face-to-face. And then I don't care about the fear side and then the pandemic and the medical issues that much. And then what I now focus is, I only focus on my small needs and then which is enough for life, and then not big dreams, like small and things that I can do easily, and then things that I can follow for my heart and for my well-being. And thank you for sharing time with us, for every participant. And I would like to thank you, Markus, also, because he is the only one I think I can see that enjoying the Zoom conference from outside of the house, as I can see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. It was short, but it was to the point.
Sercan, thank you. And we would love to, if you want to share something, I mean, like the 7 speakers, after all the 7 speakers' talks are finished, which is the 7 speakers coming soon, we will just have a few words. And if anybody here wants to share something about what they are doing, I mean, you can as well share it on the chat box, or you can talk about what you do and what's your passion. And I just thank you for joining us at the last minute, Sercan. And I just looked into internet and I admire what you do, and I would like to listen to what you're doing after the 7th speaker. Thank you. Sheri, Who's our next guest?
Thank you so much. Okay. May I have his description?
Yes, I'm going to give you the description shortly. Here it is
The
coming.
mysterious teddy bear.
Our lovely teddy bear. Who is he? Who is he? Who is John Galt?
He's introduced himself as Orhan, but hopefully he's with us right now and his microphone has been active since the beginning of this talk. That's how he described himself. Not a poet, but a rhyme guy asking for why. Life is dreadfully serious and a silly game at once. No need to take all this chaos so seriously. We are never going to get out of it alive. Mr. Orhan, with your teddy bear, we are having you the stage and the microphone.
The stage and the microphone is with Orhan. And this is Orhan Asaf speaking. Hello, everyone. I decided this in Turkish or in Persian as well. There's a word called mahlas. It's a nickname. And it used to be, I don't know if it is still being done, but as I said, I'm not a poet, but the poets and the authors, sometimes they use nicknames, and Orhan has been my nickname, my mahlas, for the last 11 years. 2009, I got the name Orhan Asaf, and people listen to this Orhan Asaf. He should be a very famous poet, but unfortunately not. He's just a connection of Orhan Veli and Özdemir Asaf, the two most famous poets of Turkey. So I used the nickname Orhan, and tonight I wanted to be as Orhan and as genuine as I am. It's because Orhan is me and he has been me since I was in university. And tonight, my 3 minutes is just starting, I hope, and I'm going to finish in 3 minutes because I asked all the guests to do so. In university, I started writing. And the first time I was on stage was my last year in college. It was a tough thing to go on stage and talk, and it was the year 1991. It was the first war in Iraq, between Iraq and Kuwait, and Saddam was invading Kuwait, and the father of George Bush, another Bush, was leading US, and I was like the senior year, and my professor in Turkish wanted us to go on stage and talk. I decided on what I should talk because I was. Everybody knows that now I deliver talks, but until the age of 30, I didn't speak at all. So at the time, I was like almost gonna die going on stage. And what am I going to talk about? I decided to talk about shit. And the speech I gave was on the book by Milan Kundera, The Unbearable Lightness of Being. And in the book, there's this scene where this each could be like the Austrian prince or something. He's locked in the prison of the Germans. So he, most probably, when he was a prince, he was shitting on a golden toilet. But the Germans put him into prison and made him clean the toilets of other people in prison. And this is the center of the book for me because Milan Kundera is talking about kitsch at that point in time. And he is explaining that prince, on purpose, ran to the electric gates and electrocuted himself, sort of killed himself, committed suicide, because it was unbearable for him to touch the shit, to clean the shit of others. But life is full of shit. And life is serious, dreadfully serious, but sometimes we have to clean our own shit. Sometimes shit happens. And these times, the current times, was like that. And I made a 3-minute speech before we started Vulnerable Talks. And I said I was, for the first time in my life, I am afraid of dying. And then one of our newly friends from Love Mafia, Orhan, he comes up on stage and tells me it's because of guilt. And I got the idea. Okay, I had this unbelievable guilt. I was afraid to die because I had this guilt, because I didn't do what I could have done in this lifetime. Right now I'm 51 and I have scribbles. I have written many things, but like the first 10 years, I started writing in university, and the first 10 years, like I lost it in my computer. And when I lost them, I started crying. And then I write on books and papers. In my house, you could see like hundreds of thousands of pages of scribbles, but all around and scattered and useless, because if I die right now, nobody knows what I have written. So I don't have anything published. That was the fear. I didn't do what I could have done. And this was a wake-up call for me, and I used this as a trampoline from a trauma, and I jumped back thanks to these vulnerable talks as well. I reached the creative sparks have come up. I started writing and talking every day, and we started with the lovely Love Mafia people, co-creating many sessions and workshops and thinking together, and co-creational sparks all over. And finally, only last week, I woke up on Tuesday, July the 7th, and my first book poured down on me from the skies. Now I have it. It's in my mind, it's in my eye. I know all the 7 chapters, and I started like doing sound recordings. We're gonna give a short break, and I will start after a few days of getting some rest, because Sheri knows I'm working without sleeping these days. I'm gonna sleep for a couple of days, and then the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I'm gonna write my first ever book. So I think pandemic hit me and it woke me up. Thank you. This is my story.
You don't want to use your 3 minutes. You still have another 2-3 more hours. Yeah, we have.
Thank you. This is the job I do to do.
Thank you so much, guys. I know, like, when we decided that we wanted to have all men sessions, it just like the idea came to me in the middle of the night, and I was thinking Özkan should share his vulnerability, knowing that I should at some point of time come on this stage and share my vulnerability. So hopefully we are going to have a session with all women as well soon. But he wanted to make it a little bit more like interesting, eğlenceli for everybody. That's why he used his nickname. So thank you so much, Özkan, for this honest and very powerful sharing about your story. Although you didn't tell us what do you think about future and all, but that was your story. So
the future
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Since you are right now one of the speakers, to all the 7 speakers, I invite you right now to unmute your microphone and interact with each other. If you want to add something, if you want to introduce yourself in more detail, if you want to comment about others, please go ahead. You have 10 more minutes to talk. Please use this time. Anybody wants to talk?
Well, I always like to jump in when there's a silence, so.
Of course.
I don't know. I mean, I think one thing I would like to use this, I don't know, set up for a forum, whatever we're going to call this place of vulnerability. And Özkan, we talked about this going back maybe a couple of years already since we first met each other. But one of the other things I think that needs to be addressed more, and not just by men, but also by women, is what, you know, the issue of what it really means to be a man, you know, not just in the 21st century, but especially now. And I don't know. I don't think there's a clear answer to that. And I think it's really related to the whole balance of, Mehmet, you were mentioning about, you know, this idea of duality, that, you know, we need this contrast in our life, that, you know, for something to be white, we have to see the black. And then for, you know, a man to be a man, we have to be a man, you know, and what models do we have of being a man? You know, they're out of touch. And I don't know. I think that the whole balance of what is masculine and feminine, and, you know, what is in our control, what is flexible, what's fixed. You know, we all come to this world with, you know, pretty well 2 options. You know, you're either a man or a woman, and that, for the most part, or boy or girl, however we start, let's say. And then beyond that, how it's how we mix the masculine and feminine energies that actually is the real game of life. And most of us have just been kind of locked into this mindset where we have to perform certain roles with these conditioned patterns that, you know, we've been taught, that I guess are slightly different for each of us. But, you know, being vulnerable and kind of being I don't know, able to speak about things that are maybe, you know, taboo, or not even just taboo, but not regular parts of the conversations that men have, you know, the idea of gossiping for good, you know, the idea of going into deeper issues that, you know, force you to look at your emotions, which are not always clear with words, and, you know, to fumble around those spaces. And you know, I think that there's, you know, the truth is ultimately in those spaces, and it's through that fumbling that we find our way, but it's really very hard to find, you know, other men that are also able to do that. And it turns out that most of the people I spend time with in my life are women. You know, I have very few, you know, male friends. Not enough, anyway. And then again, I don't know if I have to make a kind of competition about how many female friends and male friends I have, and I'm not sure that that's even really important. I mean, we're all human beings and earthlings at the end of the day. And I don't know, I'm not really necessarily going anywhere with this, but I think that, you know, it's something that has really, I wouldn't say confused me, but it's an important issue to discuss. So, you know, for myself, and I know for
it
many,
is.
you know, how to...
It is truly, it was very interesting that 5 men actually, just applied for vulnerable talk for the first time, because we usually like have tried to keep the balance with men and women. But then when it was 5 men, I felt like, okay, this means something. So right now you have 7 of them who are willing to be vulnerable. You might make new friends. A few of them
exciting.
are already your friends.
Well, that's okay. We can always go deeper. I don't know. I mean, that's just food for thought. And I mean, it was maybe just a passing comment, but I think something beyond a space filler. If anybody wants to feed onto that and build a layer onto that, that would be great. And if not, perhaps there's something else that you'd like to just blurt out with, like I did.
I'll add a layer on that moment. Because I think what you're touching on there, which is so like masculinity piece, is a really interesting one. I mean, it is basically like the first mastermind that I started last year was initially just men, and it seems there is this need, certainly. And I think what's actually quite fascinating is around vulnerability. I've been contemplating this a lot, because basically, like, I feel we're only vulnerable if there is this notion of like we need to hide something. And so I've been on this like massive quest of just becoming more and more transparent and open and honest. So I feel as long as I have nothing to hide, then there's actually nothing to be vulnerable about. And as soon as I'm actually like owning feelings, and I think this is the biggest thing that, yeah, when Sheri, you were reading the introduction, like boys don't cry and all these things, I was like, whoa. I mean, it's just like all these stereotypes, like bam, bam, bam. And it's this thing. So when you said, Markus, you spend a lot of time with women, I relate to that, because there is this, I feel this more sort of like intuitive, like feelingness that's acceptable in these circles. And then when, yeah, I don't know, I think we're, as men, like if we're not in tune with our feelings, we're really like missing out on a big piece of the intelligence that our body is actually giving us. So
a big chunk of existence, basically, because it is pretty much some guide from inner self, what's going on inside. The only way to decide to understand it, it's kind of through the feelings.
Absolutely. And I feel the other element there is sort of like with feelings, it's also just really the energy that we can tap into. Because I personally think that like sexual energy, that's sort of like where all creation starts from. And if we're actually not in tune with our feelings and able to communicate that, then yeah, I feel there's sort of a limited ability to create with love. And it's this like creation with fear and aggression, which I think in so many ways has like patriarchy like labeled so badly. But personally, I don't know, I think it depends. If we come from a place of love, then I think everything is beautiful.
Sercan, Mehmet, Rüzgar, Özkan, would you like to add something else?
Yeah.
Would you like
I
to
would like to add something about,
please.
Yeah, this is Sercan from Pergamon. So I live in a local place, like Pergamon is like only 100,000 people live here. And
Where is
coming
Pergamon?
Pergamon is in Izmir. So it's an ancient city, and it's in the UNESCO heritage. So it's a 5,000-year-old city.
Oh, wow.
There is a museum in Berlin, Pergamon Museum. Most of the people know from there, and it's a small city, small town, not a city. It's a small town. So regarding with the pandemic, the local view the local view for the locals about the pandemic is more different than the people in the big cities. And so most of the people do not care, but they understand what the word integrity is in here. So they understand that all of them, although they are living in a small town, they are all connected with the world. So everybody is affected at the same time. So everybody's needs, everybody's way of look to the life, all of a sudden just focus on one subject. So they understand that they are connected. So that was the important point. And then they understand what a civil society or corporate social responsibility or an association or a foundation does for the people in a small town or in a big city. So they are doing good things for the people all around the world. So they understand this in our local town. So they had a better focus and they had a better interest after the pandemic for our studies. And so that's what I want to share from here.
Good.
Very interesting. Please share some of the links with us on the chat box so we can follow.
Sheri, just
Sure.
want to, I mean, when Sercan is here, it's not me who should speak, but Pergamon, I have become a professional tourist guide 20 years ago, more or less, and I've traveled all around Turkey. It's one of the most well-preserved antique cities from the Greek civilization period. So there isn't anything in Greece as good and still standing as Pergamon is. You got to go and see it. It's unbelievable. Pergamon
I'm feeling so good right now because I'm in Alaşehir, very close to Izmir. I'm gonna go there as soon as I can.
Yes, you should go and just, yeah, it's unbelievable. Pergamon is amazing, really, and solid structures are still there. Unbelievable. Thank you, Sercan. And yeah, it's interesting because being in a big city, we are disconnected. And I mean, it is being we are trying to grasp the idea that we should be connected. But over there in a town, when people are really sharing and co-living together, it's normal day life. They're already connected. They're not disconnected. It's funny. Us in the big cities, we are disconnected. We have to connect. They don't live the same life really. It's their advantage, and also it's nice to hear that now they understand what a lovely association is good for their community. It's good to hear.
Thank you so much, Rüzgar. Would you like to say, Mehmet? Would you like to add something else?
Not really, nothing specific. I don't want to just talk to talk. Sometimes silence is golden.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Silence is truly gold. Rüzgar, do you have anything else to add?
I kind of agree with Mehmet. I think if you don't have anything to say, maybe it's good not to say anything. Sort of building on top of maybe Marcus's, I agree that we need a better balance of feminine and masculine energies, not within ourselves, but also within, especially in Turkey, because I feel like there's a lot of, I don't want to say toxic masculinity, but I feel like there's an extra, population of just aggression and masculinity within our country that we don't really see elsewhere. And I do also feel like we need to chill, basically.
That was a good word. Yeah, we all need to chill.
Chill.
Great. Özkan, Zere, do you want to talk as Orhan? I think you already spoke as Orhan.
No, but the thing is, Obi wants to say something. Go ahead, Obi.
Sorry.
No, you please go ahead. I mean, it's cool.
No, I bet to continue after you.
Okay, okay, sure, fine then. Regarding masculine feminism, femininity, I live close to Dubai, so I don't have to tell you the situation. Okay, it's become very aggressive, and I'm just happy that I don't live there at the moment. regarding that. But you know, there's a few points I'd like everybody to take home. Is you know, the whole world is vulnerable at the moment because they don't know what's going to happen with this pandemic, more or less. You know, unless they come up with some kind of vaccination or study or something, some kind of solution. So everybody's gone into vulnerability. Everybody's vulnerable. Follow your passion and don't come out of this pandemic empty-handed. Be productive, do something. At least say, well, you know, I did this during the pandemic. Don't come out empty-handed. If you do come out empty-handed, you just lost all that golden time. Regarding pain, acceptance, okay, so acceptance will always change the polarization from negative to positive, okay? But it's not about other people, it's about working on ourselves. You know, we have to work on ourselves to accept. Once we accept, then the polarization is going to change. It's going to flip from negative to positive. And my last point is try and take time off every day, 5 minutes. Just think of good things. Try and make yourself happy. You know, you deserve it. Just 5 minutes, and then go back into miserable mode. It's fine. Or go into whatever you want, you know? Just 5 minutes, you know, have your coffee, have your whatever, you know, 5 minutes, be good to yourself, be happy, okay? And the last point, okay, this is a bit strange maybe, okay, is, you know, they say you shouldn't look at your mobile phone before you sleep because it affects your sleep pattern. You know, the blue light, the yellow light, you know, whatever you see, you know, you watch like horror movies, you can see like, you know, you can have nightmares and so on. You know, I mean, my point is try and think of good things before you sleep. You know, try and see visual things before you sleep. Because I noticed that it had effect on me. You know, I would look at like, for an example, an island on, you know, on the sea and so on. And then, you know, like I would say really like, you know, 6 out of 10 times I'll dream of that, you know? So I don't know, it's not self-manipulation or anything like that, but before you go unconscious, think of good things so that subconscious can, you know, kind of like grab onto it. And it was a pleasure meeting you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Obi. And this is always happening. Like I always come up with new ideas because I've been really obsessed with the idea of setting the tone in the morning in these last few weeks. It's really important. Like just you wake up, it's a new day, it's a new life. Like I'm just reciting the word of the feeling good from Nina Simone, but setting the tone at the beginning of the day it's truly important. And also, as Obi, you're saying, setting the tone when you're closing your eyes, and as Rumi says, it is like the sister of death, the sleep. So when you before you go to sleep, setting the tone is important. Thank you. I want to like about this Orhan thing. This vulnerable talks has given me the chance to recite some of my scribbles. Not everybody knew, but some people like catched, oh, lovely phrases. Where do you read it? And some people asked me. And also, I was actually reading something I have scribbled upon last year, 10 years ago sometimes. And maybe tonight also just 4 lines. On the last talk, I delivered the Turkish version of it. I have 4 lines of Orhan Asaf, the non-poet. I can read that, and then I pass the mic to you. Is it okay? Sheri?
Yeah, sure. I mean, of course. I'm just going to wrap up by saying, like, truly, I honor your time. I am so grateful for all the seriously feeling, the honesty, and stories that you have shared. Everything was beautiful. Everything was so powerful, with all your colors, with all your amazing sparkles in your eyes, your faces. You made us feel connected all over again. And this place is going to be there for anybody who would like to share something and share some vulnerable moments, some fears, some hopes, and experience the thrill of being powerful in being vulnerable. So after listening to some of Orhan's scribbles, we are having a very special guest tonight who has already spoken in one of the vulnerable talk, Ernesto. Elif Jim, can I have Ernesto's microphone on mute?
He can unmute himself right now.
Ernesto, you can unmute yourself. Yes,
Yes,
Ernesto, hi. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. Guys, Ernesto is an intelligent movement facilitator. That is a very beautiful way of dealing with the body. And he's an amazing musician from Mexico. Am I right?
Yes.
Mexico. Yeah. Grown up in Colombia, and he lives in Istanbul for a year right now, and he's going to share some of his one or two of his songs in Spanish or in English to, you know, to have a little bit of a jam for us for this last episode. I just wanted everybody to feel a little bit celebrated tonight. Hope you like it. Ernesto, would you like to say something before we move to Özkan?
I'll say it with music, I guess. Just
that's
let me know if you can
perfect.
hear me, if the microphone is...
Yes.
Can you hear this?
Lovely. Very good.
Perfect.
Lovely.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
Awesome.
Ernesto,
Okay.
welcome. Yeah, welcome back, Ernesto. It's good to see your laughing face. I mean, the smile is brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Okay, I'm going to keep quiet. Özkan, please help us with some of the beautiful scribbles of Orhan Asaf. First, I thought maybe it's like inspired by Orhan Gencebay, but no, it's not Orhan. Orhan. Okay. Okay, and then we will listen to music. Let the music bless us.
Okay, maybe I should just switch off a bit of lights as well. Too many lights, just 4 lines, not so long. I'm gonna read it and then just share it on screen in case I cannot really, my pronunciation is ununderstandable. I'm gonna just share it as well. It's called The Line. Draw a line. Angel on one edge, devil on the other. Inward is the line, and between the edges our choices lie. The day comes, we may lose track. We are only humans with our defects. Thank you.
Should I go?
Yes, go ahead.
The center of the world is here. The center of the universe is in this room, in you and me. Come, the lights are off, the fire is on, the curtains closed, my heart is open. It's all set for the ritual. And fly, fly, fly beyond the sea. Fly, fly free. And fly, fly, fly beyond the sea. Fly, fly free. Where do I end? Where do you begin? Is it you that I touch? Is it me that you feel? Come, the center of the world is here. The center of the universe is in this room. Where do I end? Where do you begin? Is it you that I touch? Is it me that you feel? Come, the center of the world is here. The center of the universe is in this room. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so this was your own song, yeah?
Yeah. This is a song I wrote here in Istanbul. I was you went to this house. This
I
house
remember,
in the
yes.
Bosphorus,
I've heard
and
it.
it really felt like being in the center of the world or the center of the universe, in this place that divides the world or brings it together also, as we can see today.
Thank you, Ernest. It was a beautiful song. I loved the lyrics and how really soft and lovely you're playing and singing. Thank you.
Thank you, Özkan. Thank you. And well, I prepared another song. I don't know if there's time. If I can sing,
please, we'd love to listen. I mean, for all the audience, you can just go anytime you want, but we will be here listening to the second song. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So this second song is not mine. This is a song from Argentina, and it's a very popular song in South America. It's in Spanish, of course, so I will tell you a little bit about the lyrics and why I chose it for this occasion, for this closing session. Because the name of the song is Todo Cambia, which means everything changes. And the chorus of the song says Cambia, todo cambia. It changes, everything changes. And the song is about precisely that, about mutation, about evolution, and how nothing remains the same. And I think that one theme of these talks has to do with this change and with this adaptation and with all the things that we undergo when we are living through changes like the ones that we are going through right now in the world. So yeah, this song, I will have to read the lyrics because it's been a while, but I'll tell you just a little part. It says, the weather changes with the years, the shepherd changes his flock, and just like everything else changes, that I change is not strange. The walker, the person who is walking, changes his path, even if this will cause him harm. So just like everything else changes, what I change is not strange. So this is Todo Cambia. Cambia lo superficial, cambia también lo profundo, cambia el modo de pensar, cambia todo en este mundo, cambia el clima con los años, cambia el pastor su rebaño, y así como todo cambia, que yo cambie no es extraño. Cambia el más fino brillante, de mano en mano su brillo, cambia el nido el pajarillo, cambia el sentir un amante, cambia el rumbo el caminante, tanto esto le cause daño, y así como todo cambia, que yo cambie no es extraño, cambia, todo cambia. Cambia, todo cambia. Cambia, todo cambia. Cambia, todo cambia. Cambia el sol en su carrera cuando la noche subsiste. Cambia la planta y se viste de verde la primavera. Cambia el pelaje la fiera, cambia el cabello el anciano. Y así como todo cambia, que yo cambie no es extraño. Cambia, todo cambia. todo cambia, pero no cambia mi amor, por más lejos que me encuentre, que el recuerdo ni el dolor de mi pueblo y de mi gente. Y lo que cambió ayer tendrá que cambiar mañana, así como cambio yo en esta tierra lejana. Cambia, todo cambia. Cambia, todo cambia. Cambia, todo cambia. Cambia, todo cambia, todo, todo, todo cambia, todo cambia. Cambia, todo cambia.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
and,
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much for the invitation and for allowing me to share this with you. Thank you.
Yeah, we are delighted to have you. I love the song. I mean, the first one was excellent, but Todo Cambia, I don't speak Spanish, but I loved it.
This is beautiful. In fact, we have so many musicians in the group, Markus, Ernesto, Rüzgar, Obe. I'm going to manifest a full jam session very soon once we start the next season of Vulnerable Talk. Guys, please be ready to be harassed by me or Özkan for a jam session. We are going to hook you up. Amazing musicians are in this group. And as we all know, sound is everything. We are all made out of vibrations, and especially at this time, it's very important to tune into beautiful music and keep our vibration high and heal our soul and our bodies and our mind and our feelings as much as we can. Özkan, would you like to add something else?
I would love to say, join us on Love Mafia first, and also please follow Sheri's work. I'm sharing the links for Love Mafia. I shared Sheri's website and also my website. We will be continuing to create. I mean, we are continuously co-creating, and I love this song. This tune into each other, lift all higher. So I think the music and the art is a gateway to eternity. I love art, and I'm just going to show you one of my paintings. I like these. This is my last show tonight. So this is actually from the. It is what it is actually. It is Meandros. It is the river Menderes, Meander in English, and it is from one the one side is where the river is coming, the fountain of the river. It's coming out of earth and it's going to its sea or ocean. So this is life, and sometimes we are stuck in mud, but sometimes mud is good. Sometimes we are in our flow, sometimes flow is good. I wish everyone to be in flux in their lifetimes. I wish everyone a lovely summer. I'm hoping to come back with the Vulnerable Talks. Sheri? Are you with me, Sheri? I think she's not hearing. Okay. Ernesto,
I am here. I'm here. My internet is little bit unstable tonight. You can hear Ernesto's music on his channel that he has shared with us. Am I audible, Özkan?
Yes, you're audible, and I just.
Sure. I became a little bit. My internet is a little bit unstable. Sorry about that, guys. It is already very late. I want to say goodbye to everyone. Thanks again for being with us. You might leave whenever you're comfortable, but again, please keep in touch. And if you know somebody or if you feel connected that this show resonates with somebody that you know, please write to us, introduce them, and we will be inviting them for the next episodes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, for the 7 speakers, yeah, we are grateful. I am one of the speakers. I'm grateful to myself. So,
thank you so much. So again, good night.
See you in the ninth session of vulnerable talks soon in August, somewhere in August. See you. Thank you. Thank you. Markus, Tobias, Sercan, Ernesto, Rüzgar, Mehmet, Obi. Thank you.
Good
Ciao,
night,
ciao.
everybody.
Good night, Markus. Good night. Ciao.
Good night. Have a wonderful summer.
Thank you so
Good
much,
night.
Markus.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Markus.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody, ciao.
Thank you, Tobias. Thank you, Rüzgar. Thank you, Ube. Thank you so much, Elif.